All right, this is something a little bit different. About to be watching belt regions of the United States. I'm in the. I used to look at maps all the time, so let's see what we got here.
At a map of the US, you can divide it in various ways: regions, states, counties,
North
urban
Carolina
or
on top.
rural, among others. But one specific one is belts. You may have heard of some before, like the Rust Belt.
I've heard of the Bible Belt. It's like going down from the East Coast, pretty much like South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida. You see signs all the way going down that, like you're going to Florida. These are signs everywhere. Bible Belt.
In the past commonly known as the manufacturing belt or the steel belt, northeastern and central northern states where heavy industrialization and some economic stagnation is now common, or the Bible Belt, a
Yeah, I
collection
just
of
oh,
states where specifically in the
that
American
stretches
South,
more than what I thought.
evangelical and fundamentalist Protestantism are
Hmm.
prevalent. Now, calling it a division of the country is kind of wrong. This is more of a way of labeling specific areas of the country. Some overlap and some areas don't belong to any specific
Jello
belt.
Belt.
But what is a belt? The belt regions of the United States are portions of the country that share certain characteristics. The belt terminology was first applied to growing regions for various crops, which often follow lines of latitude because those are more likely to have similar climates. The allusion was to a long clothing belt since they roughly took those shapes on a map. The usage has expanded since then
Sun Belt.
to other
Arizona's
climate,
hot right now.
economic, and cultural
I went
shared
there last year. It
characteristics.
was like
Plus, these
110
regions
every
are
day.
not formally defined. At least that's the Wikipedia definition. So, which are these belts? There's at least 20 of them, so get ready for me quickly reading off this list so we get to know them all by name. Alphabetically, there are the following belts: the banana, Bible, black, borscht.
What y'all think the black belt is? Leave a comment. I think I have an idea, but I ain't gonna say nothing. This is wrong.
Corn, cotton, fruit, frost, Indiana, gas, jell-o, lead, pine, pretzel, rice, rust, salt, snow, stroke, sun, unchurched, and wheat,
Stroke belt. People having strokes out here? Hmm.
among a few others. Now, we're not going to cover all of them in this video. I think they'll
Unchurched.
be a little boring and repetitive. Instead, I chose around 9 or 10 that I think teach us something interesting about these areas that make up the belts.
Lips are dry.
So let's jump into it, starting with the Bible Belt.
Yeah, I
The
was just
Bible
talking
Belt is
about
a
that
part
one.
of the southern United States and includes one Midwestern state, Missouri. Here, conservative Protestant Christianity is very influential, and people attend church more than in other parts of the country. In it, fewer people identify as non-religious compared to the West and Northeast regions. For example, only 12% of people in Alabama say they're not religious, while Tennessee has the highest percentage of evangelical Protestantism at 52%. The influence of this religion is strongest in certain parts
Now we all know why Utah up there. The Mormons. They be posted up in Utah. I don't know why. I watched the video, but I forgot honestly.
of Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, South Carolina, and even stretching as far as Texas. The term Bible Belt was first used by American journalist H.L. Mencken in 1924, and he meant that religious beliefs were strongly held in this area. This is connected to the early rural nature of the region, as well as specific evangelical movements which began in the 1800s. Now it's used in other countries too to describe regions with strong religious beliefs, such as the Netherlands. These usually have
Hmm.
political implications, with states or
I heard the
regions
Netherlands
belonging to
about the
them
flood.
usually voting more conservatively. On the opposite end, we have the unchurched belt, which was labeled in opposition to the Bible Belt, defining states where religion isn't as important. In 1985, researchers found that California, Oregon, and Washington had pretty
Who's
low
living in
church membership
Alaska?
rates. By
I guess that
2000,
has a lot
several
of
states,
people.
including Oregon, Washington, Alaska, Nevada, and West Virginia, also began reporting even lower religious adherence. By 2006, Nevada and New England had the lowest church attendance rates, followed by Oregon, Washington, and California. A 2008 Gallup poll even showed that belief in God was also lower in the western United States when compared to other regions of the country. However, there's still debate whether the western United States is still the most irreligious region, as New England now has more people unaffiliated with any faith. And in addition, although one wouldn't tell just by the name, we have the jell-o.
I was wondering about the Jello belt. I was about to ask why, but I done seen Mormon pop up and possibly the Mormon belt. Where you get Jello Mormons? Let's find out.
Belt. This one is also known as the Mormon Corridor or the Mormon Belt, portraying western states with a large Mormon population. Apparently it's called jell-o due to a stereotype that these people like it a lot. Maybe that's what they're referring to in the Fallout TV show, when they have the jell-o cake all the time in the vault. But anyway, it might not be so much of just a stereotype. Apparently, according to the Los Angeles Times, Salt Lake City holds the title of America's Jell-O eating capital. Mary Jane Kincaid of Kraft Foods, the maker of Jell-O, even stated that every resident of Salt Lake City, on average, purchases 2 boxes of Jell-O annually, which is twice the national average. Additionally, Utah residents
The more you know.
consume also twice as much lime jell-o as anyone else in the world. The Church of Latter-day Saints,
Ugh.
however, has not shown great affection towards the term. But this is what the belt is, the region of the US where Mormon religion is most concentrated.
I know you don't want to see Donald Trump retake the White House.
I don't want to
I
see
know
you
you
right
don't
now. I'm trying
want
to
a
watch my video.
nationwide ban on abortion. I know you don't want.
And what if you wanted to browse the internet as if you were living in one of these regional belts? Well, with NordVPN you can do it without leaving your home. NordVPN is a
No
long-standing partner
sponsors.
and fast using NordVPN online. Focusrite and corporate visits. We're sharing joy with Nord. We have the other iconic one I mentioned at the start, the Rust Belt. It was once known as the Steel Belt. It's a region in the northeast and midwestern United States, sometimes painted along with parts of the northern
I've
southern
heard of
states.
that. I don't know
It includes areas
it's
like
from.
western New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan's Lower Peninsula, southeastern Wisconsin, and small parts of Kentucky, New Jersey, and the St. Louis metropolitan area in Missouri. The term Rust Belt refers to the decline of industry, especially steelmaking, since steel rusts, automobile manufacturing, and coal mining.
The decline. Oh, so that means like they had industry up there a while back, but now it fell off, so it's rusting, I guess. I don't know.
Due to factors like deindustrialization, economic decline, population loss,
Hmm.
and urban decay, sort of in a vicious cycle where each cause all of the rest. While Boston and New York adapted and shifted their economy towards the third sector, many of these other states failed to. The term became popular in the 1980s, contrasting with the booming Sun Belt in the South, which is the next on our list. It
That's where it's
includes the
hot.
southeast and southwest regions of the US, with climates ranging from deserts to tropical zones. After World War II, many people moved to the Sun Belt, seeking warm weather, retirements, and job opportunities.
My dad moved to Arizona after he got out of the military. It's baking down there, especially during the summer. It's like 110 every day.
And still, lots of people have been moving to the Sun Belt lately, with 12 out of the 15 fastest growing US cities located there as of 2023. And what about the Black Belt? It stretches along specific counties of Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi,
Hold up, that one county is like right beside my county, and there's a lot of black people that live there. So I'm wondering if it's just black people. I'm about to find out.
Georgia, and the Carolinas, as well as Virginia. By 1894, political commentators used the term Black Belt so often that it was already very well known in the US, and by 1900, the term was commonly used to denote the geopolitical region. The 2020 census map shows us how this is still a reality today. Its origin is related to the
There's a
social
lot of
history
black
of
people that live in
slavery
that one
and
county
black labor
beside
within
me.
the southern region, which is coincidentally also known for its rich black soil, giving the second meaning to the term. This area is historically
Oh,
centered
so it's
around cotton
farmland too.
plantations, also included tobacco, near the Virginia-North Carolina border. Controlled mainly by wealthy white people, the
Yeah,
land
that's where I
was
live,
cultivated
Virginia,
by
North Carolina border.
predominantly black slaves, who often made up the majority of population in many counties. Following 1945, mechanization replaced much of the labor force, leading to the great migration of workers to cities in the Midwest and West instead. Despite changes in labor dynamics, the term Black Belt persists, and the Cotton Belt, which is also known in the region, is necessarily connected to it for the same reasons. To wrap things up, and like I mentioned
So all that mess came from slavery, that one belt right there. That's what it sounds like in the aftermath of it.
at the start, the concept first emerged with agriculture and farming.
Grain
So
makes
what are
corn,
some of those belts
corn
that
makes
still remain today?
whiskey.
One example is the Corn Belt, which spans from Ohio to parts of Kansas, Nebraska, and the Dakotas. It includes portions of Minnesota in the north and Missouri and Kentucky in the south. Iowa and Illinois are the central hubs of the region, collectively producing a third of the nation's corn, a disproportionate amount considering its size, the reason being adequate soil and federal subsidies.
That's
Or
literally
the
corn
Wheat
right
Belt,
outside my
which
house
almost
right now,
divides the US
across
in
the street.
half and consists of the areas where wheat is the primary crop. The Rice Belt is another example, a stretch of counties that produces almost all of the rice in the US since it has the terrain and weather conditions
Oh
that
yeah, you gotta
encourage
grow
it.
rice
And
like
then we
with a whole
have
bunch
other
of
ones like
water,
the
and then you
Frost
drain
Belt,
the
a region
field, I
known for
think.
its icy winters and heavy snowfall. It includes the entirety
Nah, I hate the cold. All them cities up there, not moving there. I don't do the cold.
of New England and much of the mid-Atlantic and Midwest regions, which is different, for instance, from the Snow Belt, which is made up of 3 areas near the Great
Definitely
Lakes
not
that
moving
get
there.
a lot of snowfall. The reason for all the snow is something called the lake effect snow, which happens when cold, dry air moves over the warmer water of a lake, picks up moisture, and then drops it as snow when it moves inland. Each of the 5 Great Lakes actually has its own snow belt. Lake Ontario's is in upstate New York. Lake Erie stretches from Cleveland, Ohio to
Oh,
New
so the
York.
snow
Lake Michigan's
blows to the
covers the
right.
western part of
I guess the
Michigan,
wind blows to the
and
right,
Lake
or at least the
Superior's
jet stream.
includes northern Wisconsin and Michigan's Upper Peninsula. So, those are the so-called belt regions
And the
of the
world
United States.
turns that
Some
direction.
defined and named based on economic factors, others on cultural or religious ones, and some due to the
Alright,
origin of the belt.
well that was definitely interesting. Always like a good geography lesson. Thanks for watching. And leave us in a comment. That would be nice.
Golly, do your thing.
I'm tryna get cash flow, yeah, and I can't go slow. And I saw some niggas, they think it's like